So this is kind of like, okay, when I say explicit, I don't mean that we are talking about the truth. I'm just saying we're putting every single detail on the table. We do not leave anything undiscussed.
Okay, anything undiscussed. Okay. What about Japanese implicit?
Oh, there are a lot of things that are in Japan. They are common sense.
What's the difference from
you can read the air, so you don't have to discuss everything. We more or less understand from the context what is intended, and without going into detail, without becoming explicit, we are going to start this project together, without any definition or specification or thick contracts. Like the contract of an American project is this compared to a Japanese one, which is only a few pages, because it is based on penalty clauses, on everything made explicit. So we need to do this and that, otherwise they cannot make the contracts. So instead of building up a relationship, they are building up truth, like testimony and penalty clauses in order to take care of everything that can go wrong and will go wrong, because we already know that actually, based on our experience, we could already foresee that 1 million would never be enough. So if we would have been completely honest, we would not have taken the project and say, sorry, for 1 million we cannot do it. You will not be happy with us. Instead, we take the 1 million, do the project as agreed, and then they say, well, but how about our warehousing? How can we deal with that? Yeah, sorry, that's not in scope of the project. We agreed to this scope. If you want to do warehousing too, yeah, sorry, you need to make 500,000 more available. Oh, okay. So that is explicit. Doesn't mean necessarily ethically an ethical project or ethical way of dealing, but just making things completely explicit, putting everything on the table, discussing every single detail before coming to an agreement. Where in Japan it is more based on building up trust and relationship, making a commitment without discussing every detail, partially basing yourself on common sense, on trust, on the relationship that you have with this organization, on their reputation. All these things matter when you are going to make an agreement. Reputation doesn't matter. We got a contract in the Netherlands with a company, with the entity of the Netherlands. We were a virtually nameless company. PricewaterhouseCoopers failed, Accenture failed, and then a nobody company came in. But we had very strict contractual agreements. That was enough for entity to do business with a small IT company. It wouldn't happen in Japan. Wouldn't happen.
You mean Japan?
In Japan, yeah.
Still now?
Still now. Well, Funabashi-san will come tonight, right? Also, his company is very new and unknown, yet postal office signed a contract with him. But probably because this kind of technology is not available anywhere else yet, I think. But it's kind of surprising.
Oh, me too. But this, he is very smart to get into the most hot topics
for
business.
Right.
So actually, probably they do not, in Japan, they do not have kind of business now. So he just catch it.
Right.
Very good opportunity to do that.
Right. Well, everybody's talking. This is kind of, Japan is a little bit, sorry to say, this is a little bit strange about this. So,
yeah, but his case is very smart. Just doing cool business, very cool.
Right.
Hitting point.
Right.
Nobody that I take my wife going to United States.
Right.
It's similar. Everybody after he's making that business, everyone knows that this is very hitting the point.
Mm.
Many people want to go there, very cheap and can eat beef, steak.
Right.
But his business is very similar. No, everybody recognized, but nobody started that business.
Right.
But they believe this is very needed.
Mm.
Right.
So.
And I think he's very smart.
So IoT, and actually this is something that was already happening in the States already, but it has become the absolute buzz in Japanese boardrooms. So everybody's talking about IoT, everybody's talking about blockchain, everybody's talking about AI at the moment. This is just hot.
But AI is, do you know AI is, I just surveyed American statistics. Do you know AI industry growth rate every year? Next to 10 years?
Well, it's still nothing, so it must be enormous.
Yeah, every year growth rate estimated 65% every year.
Yeah.
So recently American elementary, that very big amount of American elementary schools started to teach AI.
Right.
It's Python.
Yeah, it's not AI, but
program AI based.
Yeah.
Right? It's Python is using for AI.
Right. For programming. Python can be used for AI. Yeah.
So this is a recent tendency.
Right. So
okay, this is implicit, explicit.
So I think that is a gap. I think a lot of Japanese companies feel cold feet when engaging with foreign business partners because of this tendency to having to make everything explicit, making commitments every step of the way. Yes, we're going to do this. No, we're going to do this. These kinds of decisions that need to be made already up front before you even start it. It's not really aimed at. It's a step-by-step negotiation. It's a constant bickering over details and over clauses that I don't feel a lot of Japanese companies feel comfortable with and want to engage with. And I think this is one of the elements why a lot of Japanese companies like to do business with each other, simply because they don't want to go through all that effort and hassle of negotiating very contracts. I don't feel comfortable. I don't speak the language, actually. That's the next one. So I'm out of my league negotiating these kinds of contracts.
Okay, moving to the next one.
Yeah. So basically, Europe has a Latin-based language, and since English is the most widely used language, it's the lingua franca of the world, as they say. It's the global language. We are very much at an advantageous position to negotiate globally, because, like, take the Netherlands, like, everybody speaks English, from professors in university to people who clean the toilets. Everybody speaks English. It's because it's not that hard for us to learn. We have the same foundation, Latin, as English, and that makes it much easier for us to pick up than for Japanese people who have who have their own language base, and that doesn't really map, that doesn't really compare easily with English. So that is just what it is. It's a disadvantage for Japan that they will need to overcome. But it's just the top of the iceberg. I want to underline that if we look at this gap, that language is just the top of the iceberg. That's not nearly enough to actually be successful when you want to close the gap with the rest of the world.